Hello and welcome back, and today let's talk about Dead City Season 3 and some news that we have got about the filming, which will start in 1 week's time, and that is that there will be filming in Boston next week. As well, Season 3 will feature filming in Paris, France. So does this mean that Maggie and Negan are going to France in Season 3? It could, or could it mean something completely different? What's very interesting is last year Jeffrey D. Morgan did tweet about would it be funny if Maggie or Negan went to France, and now we got this news. It's very weird, very convenient, and it's right after Daryl, and you could say this is going to be a crossover. It cannot be, sadly, because Dead City takes place 6 years after the events of Daryl Dixon, so by the time it's Dead City, Daryl Dixon's story is over. He's back at the Commonwealth, Lauren and Rick and all that. He's all the way with them. So we're not gonna see a crossover. I think this story in France is gonna be actual story based. It's not they're filming it to make it look like New York. They would have got Boston for that. I think it's gonna be one of two things. One, the Croat is gonna end up in France. We know that he's going back to Europe as of the end of Season 2. The last thing he said to Negan is like, I want to go back to Croatia before he's kicked out. And then he just disappears in episode 7, never be seen again. I think he's going to end up in France, that's point number 1, or they're going to dress France up to make it look like Croatia. That could be point number 2. The Walking Dead franchise is not above that. They did this in Daryl Dixon Season 3, where they dressed up Barcelona to look like London, just because they're only there for 1 episode, so there's no point filming in London, then moving back to Spain to film. I think they could be using France to pretend it's Croatia. Maybe they already have a deal because Daryl Dixon filmed there. They already have a team ready to work. So they could be like, okay, let's take the Croat over to France, have him do some scenes, pretend it's in Croatia, and then that could set up a storyline in Season 4 from the comeback. And that is what I think is happening. It has already been set up, so that's why I believe it. And it makes sense because Dead City Season 2 had a dual storyline, but now that Maggie and Negan are together, you do have a little bit of space. You might have their storyline a bit bigger still because now together, but you might have a little bit of space for a smaller B-plot in Europe with the Croat from the comeback with more men to help Negan and Maggie in Season 4. That's how I think his storyline's going to play out. And going back to the tweet that Jeffrey D. Morgan said, is it likely that we will see Maggie and Negan in Europe? Probably not. If they do, it would be small, like at the end of Season 3. Maybe they've been kicked out of New York and they've somehow ended up in Europe, which would be dumb. And then they go back with the crowd. I think it's more likely they'd be kicked out of New York and they find the crowd waiting there with a new army of Croatians so they can just swarm Dead City and take it back. That's what I think is going to happen. It's really weird we're getting more stuff in Europe and it's now in Dead City, not Daryl Dixon. They better do something cool with the Croat. And this is what I believe it's connected to. It better not be, oh, we're just going to reuse a bit from Daryl Dixon. It seems like Dead City's getting a bit of just the leftovers of Daryl Dixon. Now that we're now getting filming in France for Dead City. It's very weird. However, this is all we know. It could be absolutely nothing. They could just be filming in France to pretend it's part of New York. Or it could be what I think. They are doing a Croat storyline in Croatia and they're just dressing up France to be Croatia. However, please tell me down below what do you think. So, thank you for listening and I'll talk to you later.